Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Tea with Tamela. If you're new here, I'm Tamela, your host, and I am so thrilled to have you join me. You know how we do it. We're talking all things faith, family, food, football, and everyday moments in between. And today, I am joined by Mr. Derrick Morgan, who lives all of those things. Got the faith, got the family, the food, and the football. So thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. You know, when I think about, I guess we met many, many years ago. I think it was like at a PAO conference, and to just really see just how you and your wife connected, because in our space, we know not everybody connect the same way, but had a calling on your life for something so much bigger than yourself. And so your faith was at the forefront of everything that you got an opportunity to do, but you were living on mission in the locker room, in the community, and that's a rarity. And so it made it an easy touch point of somebody to model, say, hey, they get it.
Yeah.
Like they get the life that we get to live, and it's easy to watch whether you're up close, behind the scenes. And sometimes people, I feel like you learn more when you silently get to watch them, because people get to see who you are when you don't know how closely they're watching. And just to see you guys live by example and live like boldly and courageously and not waver is like something that's so rare. And so I'm glad that we get to see that from people like yourself. And it's just a joy.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So I want to just kind of start with you guys. I remember, oh my gosh, this was before COVID. Really tapped into something that was so unique that I think it went viral a little bit about how y'all adopted like this new way of living when it came to becoming more health conscious, with being intentional with the things that you put in your body, like what the recovery process was like. And it started, if I'm not mistaken, with you, and then you were able to get some of your teammates on board with that, or you and your wife.
Yeah.
So can you walk me a little bit through just what was that process like? Like, how did you guys sit and brainstorm and come up with, hey, we want to do something different with how we're living life, how we're fueling our bodies, and formulating a plan before you started to introduce it to other people?
Yeah. I think it was a natural evolution. The way me and my wife came together, I think it's important to talk about the origin story of Derrick at 21 and fresh in the league and just wet behind the ears, but thought I had it figured out. And meeting my wife in that season was very beneficial for me. Looking back on it, God knew what he was doing, placing this woman in my life at that juncture, because I was not living a healthy lifestyle when it came to what I ate, how I took care of myself. I was just going, right? I was off the momentum of having a solid college career and then getting into the league and realizing that dream. I'm eating gas station food, right? Like, I'm not thinking about recovery.
Chicken is at the gas station.
Chicken tenders, French fries, all that stuff, right? And so when you're 20, 21, you can get away with that for a little bit. But I had a season-ending injury my rookie year, which flipped the whole dynamic for me when it came to how I thought about my health, how I thought about my diet, how I was going to have some type of longevity in my career. And when I met my wife, Charity, she was already of the mindset of got to put quality things into your body. She was a Le Cordon Bleu chef. She understood the, nutrition part of it.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of educating for me. She was going into the pantry like, nope, get that, give me that.
Throwing out all your food.
No, I need my Lucky Charm. No. So she's throwing out and she's like cleaning up the way we eat. And so, knowing that I was coming off of an injury, I sort of bought into that because I was desperate to say, okay, well, if this is going to help me, then I'll do it. You know what I mean? If it's going to hurt me, get it away from me. And so I've always had an open mind into things that could help me in my career. And so when we fast forward to 2017, it was the off season, I always say I was overweight. I was having a really good off season, too good. And we had to report back and we had a weigh in, right? We had a target weigh in weight. You're probably aware of this. And for us at the time, every pound you were overweight was like a $700 fine.
Oh,
and
per
I was
pound.
Like, yeah, per pound. And I was like 10 over. And so I was looking at like, how can I drop like 10 pounds in like 6 weeks? Like, give me something. And so I started to work with this nutritionist that was a plant-based nutritionist. And she was like, you need to clean up your snacking. You're eating cereal, you're eating all these junk foods. I'm like, that's my thing. She's like, look, try this instead. And so she introduced all these plant-based, healthy, simple ingredient snacks into my diet. And then she started to ask, like, have you ever considered going plant-based? And I was like, there's no way I can go plant-based. I'm in the trenches. I'm pushing 350-pound guys around. Like, my livelihood is strength and all these things. And she's like, look at all these athletes that have done it. And she started sharing all this research with me. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And the true test will be training camp. And so fast forward to training camp that season, come into training camp. I have one of my best camps.
Oh, wow.
I'm recovering. I'm not as sore. I'm sleeping good. My mind is on, and I'm still holding my own. I'm not getting pushed around.
I ain't getting thrown around the field,
all right.
so I may be all right.
Right? And so I started it, but then when Charity, my wife, got onto cooking for me, I was like, oh, I could do this. You know, my wife, she just basically took the foods that she was already making, lasagna, burgers, all these things, and she just replaced the ingredients with plant-based ingredients.
Yeah.
And so the taste to me wasn't a compromise. And so I just started bringing my meals into the cafeteria, and guys were looking like, yo, what are you eating? Did Charity cook that? I'm like, yeah. It's like, tell her to make me one. And then it was like, tell her to make me one. And the guys just started
like, hook a brother up.
catching
So you
on.
coming in with casserole dishes.
Exactly. Because they had been to the house before during cookouts and stuff. They knew she'd throw down.
Yeah.
And so that's how that kind of started. And by the end of the season, we had about 15 guys on her meal plan. And that was back in 2017. But, that was just more of a testament of like, me and Charity are always trying to we're always trying to better ourselves from a health standpoint, right?
Yep.
And so that was just a natural evolution in our journey.
So did she grow up? I know you mentioned like she came in and started throwing some of your things out. Did she grow up having, I guess, more experience around being health conscious to before going into the whole plant-based thing where she knew like, hey, this is not good for you?
She just has a natural gifting at like health, like anything that's health oriented, whether it's homeopathics or just like different remedies. Like she just has a natural gifting in those areas, and then food is a part of that dynamic for her. So she kind of she grew up poor like I grew up poor, so she was coming up with creative concoctions in the kitchen with ramen noodles and all. Not to say ramen noodles is healthy, but she was just like very creative. She had to be. And so she just has been always naturally inclined to understand like, okay, these things are good for you, and let's incorporate these, and let's kind of like take these out the picture. And so, yeah.
So at what moment did you decide, okay, like this is working. I'm not getting thrown around the field. I feel good. I don't have all the inflammation, don't have the brain fogs. I don't want to just do this because, sometimes people have like the in-season diet and then the out-of-season diet.
Yeah.
But at what point did you guys decide like we want to adopt this as a lifestyle for our family and not just for like success on the field?
I think it was all the things you just mentioned, but then it was getting your actual blood work done and looking at your biology of, oh, wow, like, that my inflammation levels really did drop. My cholesterol is way better than what it was. My blood pressure has dropped. I had high blood pressure at the time. It's normal.
Oh, wow.
And so like all these biomarkers were telling me, oh, this is actually working. It's not a placebo effect. And then that's during the time where all these documentaries were coming out, and it was going into the science of plant-based eating, and it was talking about all the issues with factory farming and like all these contaminants that are in our food. And so we're like, we're just going to stay in this lane, and, we're going to stay in this lane and as long as it's still serving us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people that assume a certain identity when it comes to like, oh, I'm a vegan, or I'm a pet, whatever. Like, and it becomes part of their identity. It's like, no, I'm just eating because it's serving me. Like, no offense, I don't care really that much about the animals. Like Peter, like don't kill me. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I don't.
like if you want to eat your cow, like eat your cow, but like do it in a sustainable way. But like for me, it was more so like, this is fueling me. My biology is telling me it, and we're just gonna stay in this lane as long as we need to.
So from that moment, did you start to adopt like new supplements to pair with what you were doing? I know sometimes people talk about like these deficiencies that come, like were there certain things that you had to implement to offset not taking in things that were not plant-based?
Yeah, you have to be very cognizant of things like vitamin B12, your protein intake, your amino acids. For the most part, like, and then the omega-3s is another thing you need to be aware of. And to be honest, most of the population is not getting those types of nutrients anyway. Like vitamin B12 largely came from our soil historically, but our soil has been so deteriorated over years of mass farming and factory farming. It's like nobody's really getting adequate amounts of vitamin B from the soil anymore. So most people have to supplement. And so that started with us just doing more blood work of like, it's called a micronutrient test, and it tells you where your levels are at. And so whether it's iron, whatever the case, you got to just supplement it and always just be aware of your levels. Yeah. But that's for anybody. Like I would encourage anybody that's living in the American food system, go and get your micronutrients, get your blood work done to see kind of where you're at.
Yep. So how was it? So your teammates, they kind of adopted this for a little bit, and you had more and more guys coming in and say, hey, I want to get on that plan. How was it for you advocating for something that was outside of the norm in the locker room to get other players and their families involved in what was taking place for you and Charity? Because I can remember like it became this thing and people were wanting to try it, but they didn't have the resource of the success y'all had, which was Charity.
Yeah, right.
And so with that, I saw a lot of fail attempts.
Yeah.
So how was it for you to recruit those guys in, but then also with being able to have her on your team, make it something that was sustainable inside of the locker room?
Yeah, I would say I never sought out with the mission to recruit guys to my lifestyle, and they know, like anybody that I play with, they knew my nickname was Dr. Morgan. So like I was always trying new things, and they're like, "What you doing this year, Morgan?" Like I have different set up in the locker room and my locker. And they're like, "What are you?" So like they knew that I was always trying stuff, and so and if it worked for me, it worked for me, and the longer you're in the league, the more people look to you, right? Like DeMario, like people are looking at DeMario, like, how did you get to year 15? So when you get that, like that, what's the word? When you get that experience through being in the league, you have a certain deference that people give you. And so people were kind of looking at me like, okay, well, if he's done it, he's had 7-8 years in the league, like so he's doing something right. And so it kind of become one of those things. And then it was all about educating people, like these are the things that contribute to inflammation, which contributes directly to how good you feel and recover after a game. And then this is going to impact your performance. So when you start talking performance with athletes, they're like, oh, let me kind of listen up a little bit, and then here's the solution via Charity, preparing the meals, which makes it practical.
Right.
What you were talking about is like, I want to go or I want to explore it, but I don't have the practicality of somebody preparing, holistic meals for me. It's hard, like if she wasn't doing it, I don't know how long I would have lasted. You know what I mean?
It's hard.
Like I was on a meal plan eating. Oh my God, it was horrible. Before she jumped on cooking for me, I was getting these like to-go meals that were getting shipped in the mail. I mean, I was just eating to eat. It was just like, get it down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so it wasn't overly practical. And then, at the time, we were trying to educate the team on like what the why, not that everybody needs to be fully vegan, but like maybe not eat meat 3 times a day, 7 times a week, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe we
Let's just cut it back a little bit.
just a little bit.
Just
We
a
don't
little
need a pork
bit.
chop every meal. You know what I'm saying?
Pork
Like
chop with wrapped in bacon.
yeah,
like
maybe not that much. And so like we were trying to educate the team so that they could change the menu for the guys that just wanted to eat better. And at the time, we were early, we were 27, we were almost 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a lot of reception for like, oh, let me add some chickpeas to the menu. It's like, what? Like when I seen the guy from what's the head coach of the Titans? Selah?
So the seed oils.
Yes. I was like,
yeah, I saw that article. I was like, oh, he's onto something.
I was like, whoa. And that's a little advanced because a lot of people don't realize how seed oils are so inflammatory to our systems and how they're like in everything.
I didn't know that for a long time.
Oh my gosh. And like, they're so potent, right? Like you're not supposed to have more than a little bit of seed oil. And then it's like the canola oils and the palm oils, like they're rancid. Like the things that they put in our food supply is mind-boggling. When you look at the ingredients that are allowed in other countries versus what's allowed in this country, somebody's getting paid. Like it's
a lot of money.
It's a whole system, right? Like why do I need 35 ingredients in my cereal or whatever the case, right? So I'm just really encouraged that the trend seems to be going in the right direction. You know what I mean? We were just a little bit early. And so it wasn't received well.
It wasn't received well. I can see how, because it was early for that time, but it was just starting to break the surface where I think, some of those what the health and, different little things were coming out about what was taking place in our food. But it's hard to understand, especially when you don't have like opportunity to travel outside the country, because you'll go over there and you get Cheerios and they taste completely different. You're like, their stuff actually tastes poorly to us because our palate has gotten so accustomed to all the trash that we're putting into it. And so it becomes super challenging. Yeah. But you guys were like way ahead of time, which, I mean, it's a rarity and it's so big. How was that like getting the family, because the kids to buy in? Like, were they exposed to things that you had to like slowly take away, or
you don't give them a choice? I mean,
I bought the food. This is what you're gonna eat.
Like,
no
really,
more Lucky Charm.
No, like seriously, it's like this is gonna be a tough 3 weeks. But if you're hungry, you will eat, and here's your option.
I love that.
That's just how
we're not starving you. We got options. It's just
there's some lentils right there. We don't got no more chicken fingers. They gone. You know what I mean?
Fingers out.
And that's how we did it. Now our kids are older, so we give them the ability to choose what they want. And like my son's an allitarian. Like he eats anything and everything. My daughter's still vegan, right? She's like, nah. Like
I'm not interested in that.
She's asking the waiter, like, is there anything in there? She's serious about it.
Seed oil? We don't do seed oil.
Right. My son's like, give me the Chick-fil-A, give me whatever. I'm like, bro, at least have some, like, discretion. Like, he was eating a ham sandwich. I'm like, dang, you eat ham sandwiches, bro? Like, he's like, no, it's turkey. I said, you know what ham is, right? It's the backside of the pig. He's like, nuh-uh. So, like, he's 14, but I just need him to eat. But yeah, now we kind of let our kids, they're old enough
to
that
choose.
They make their own. And we're not going to force our lifestyle when it comes to food. We're going to strongly encourage things.
Yep.
But I want my kids to have autonomy, and I want them to think for themselves. And I don't want them to be one way with us and one way not with us. So,
well, that's a rarity in itself. We could talk all day probably about parenting and how sometimes, kids are treated like robots. And I'm like, things can function robotically, but they're not robots. And so allowing them to, think for themselves, make some decisions respectfully and honor into, what you guys are putting out is really big, because we don't see that happen a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, you big bottom sandwich.
I mean, like, if you're gonna do it. Like, but don't try to act like you're not doing it.
That's it. So what was it like for, after you guys started to explore all of these new waves of things that was taking place. You're doing your research, you're implementing them in your lifestyle inside your home. You're seeing like the fruit of the labor, to then go out and Charity has these amazing cookbooks. You guys are
Mm-hmm.
offering different meal prep services for your teammates. How did it become more of like a business and not just like a lifestyle for just the two of you and your family?
Yeah, it was interesting because the thing that really caught fire was we got Sports Illustrated did a story on us in 2017, and we just so had happened to be having our best season as a team in like 15 years. So we were in the playoffs. We went to the second round of the playoffs and had a great season, right? And so this is the same season that we just so happened to have a vegan meal plan with 15 starters on it, right?
Wow.
So like Sports Illustrated picked that up,
Mhm.
ESPN picked it up, and then the film Game Changers picked it up. So like Game Changers is a Netflix documentary produced by I think it's James Cameron. That's the Avatar guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
him and his wife Susie Cameron with Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these big time producers. They produced Game Changers back in 2018. They were wrapped, and then they seen our story break, and they're like, "We need y'all in this."
Really?
So they opened production back up, and they included us into that documentary.
Wow.
And that ended up being, at the time, it ended up being the #1 documentary in the world, I think like in 2019. And so like we're at the premiere in New York, Serena Williams is there. Like it's like big, right? So that got the attention of some publishing agencies to do a cookbook with Charity because she was one of the stars from the movie.
She's the chef.
You know,
She's
she is
making
a star.
stuff happen.
So people are like, how I get that? You know what I mean? She bringing out these buffalo chicken tenders and these, NFL players are eating them. People are intrigued by that.
right.
So that got the attention of all these agencies and they started reaching out. And so next thing you know, we're literally, this is February 2020, right? Literally a month, like on the eve of COVID, she gets a book deal with one of the biggest agencies in the country, and dream come true, right?
Mhm.
Little did we know, it actually was the perfect time to be doing a cookbook. and I'm like, this is great, right? Like we're at home all day. What else is there to do other than eat? We
Yep.
can't leave. So she ends up doing the cookbook during COVID. Now, there's a flip side to that. Because when you're doing a cookbook, you have to test recipes multiple times. So what happened was she would make a banana nut bread and be like, something's off. Make another banana nut bread. I need to add this ingredient this time. So by the time the end of the day is up, you got 3 banana nut breads sitting on the stove, and it's COVID. What do? You eat the banana nut bread.
3 banana nut breads.
And I'm like, dang, how did I gain 15 pounds? You know what I'm saying? So like, it was cool. It gave her a time to like be creative and like get into this mode. And then that's how all the recipes came. It's interesting because Charity always makes recipes just off of like feel.
Mhm.
She's not measuring or she's not
Yep.
doing, she's just like boop, boop, boop. And so it was interesting watching her have to like force herself to measure
Yep.
recipes, and it was good because it evolved her, and it kind of set her up for what she's doing now, right? So the cookbook launched 2022. We come out of COVID, and then like fast forward, we build a house. That's a whole nother story. I'm building a house during COVID, and we're still married. Thank the Lord.
But praise the Lord.
Praise
Because
the
COVID
Lord.
and building a house
What?
and trying to figure out
What
life.
we doing? What? Why are we talking to each other like that? Okay, but it ended up setting us up for the next thing, which is the protocol, and that kind of like, you parlay into that, and that's like kind of like the business of our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And like I always say, like I would do this for free.
Yep.
What we're doing, we always loved helping people.
Mm-hmm.
People would always call us like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and me or Charity, okay, have you tried this? Look at this, and here's a referral, here's a contact. That was kind of like our lifestyle. People
So what was the defining moment for you guys have like all of this success that happened for you on the field, in the locker room, and Charity is like, she's the GOAT. Like, she's using her superpowers to pour into that. And then you guys are working on these documentaries and these cookbooks, and like, there's all these defining things. At what moment did you guys sit and formulate like the protocol concept, which I love the name.
Thank you.
It's such a cool name. So what was the idea birthed to like, hey, we're going to move into this space alongside the cooking?
Yeah, it was it wasn't like a straight like point A to point B. It was a winding path. And I think God used a lot of our past experience to prepare us for this next season that we're in now. And I was telling you before we even started that I had 9 surgeries up until the time that I retired from the NFL. And that set me on a path early on in my career that had me thinking outside the box about my health. And it wasn't like, let me just do the traditional ice and stem and whatever the case was. It forced me to like fly over here and try this new therapy.
Dr. Morgan. And
yeah, exactly. I got all these different gadgets and devices in my locker. And so like the same time, Charity's also, she's the remedy queen. You know, she got all these different homeopathic concoctions. And, you know, we did 2 home births and like we're completely like holistic, right? And so I think our paths have been on this parallel but converging journey that ended up with this concept around protocol of like, we were living this lifestyle. Now, how can we offer the knowledge that we've accumulated to more than just our family and friends? How can we create what we think is missing in Nashville? We would always complain about, oh, Nashville doesn't have this, they don't have that. I'm like, you know what? We're either going to be part of the problem or part of the solution.
That's big.
So
and bold.
Yeah, like we see it. And so here's the solution. And, you know, we're a little bit ahead of the curve. So it's a little bit of an adoption period for people to kind of like understand what we're doing. But we think in the long term, God has positioned us to be a solution for a lot of people who are in this Western medical complex of, you know, misdiagnosis and overprescription of, you know, pills and surgeries. And, you know, they're running into dead ends with their health. And we think that there's just a whole nother world that people aren't as aware of that we want to be able to offer people solutions for.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the solutions that you guys are offering have had so much intentionality around it from the beginning, right? And so to actually see like each step be, I'm sure, ordained by God of, hey, I'm putting this into you because I want to use it in a unique way that's not going to just empower you and your family or your friends, but I'm setting you up to be able to do like my work in the most unique way that people would miss. And it takes someone who isn't just looking at it as, you know, how do I rack in the most amount of money and, you know, sell this, but it's like, no, we're living it, we're exercising it, we're sampling it on ourselves before this was even a thing. And so now we have this protocol where we can really help people, whether it's recovering, whether it's longevity, whether it's fixing things. And you were so kind of give us a tour a few months ago, and to come in and see and you talk about it, you can feel that it's coming from here and not just here. But what you guys have there is super unique, where I was asking somebody recently, they were talking about this bed. I'm like, have you seen this bed and that thing and this? And they're like, oh, no. I'm like, you should go to protocol because you're right. You're ahead of the curve. So will you explain to just our listeners of what is protocol? What's the protocol? Like when they're coming in, what are all the things that you guys are able to assist them with? What is the plan that you're able to draft out for them?
Yeah. It's kind of like a wellness playground. Like we went and got, you know, all of the most cutting edge machines and modalities that we've either tried personally, whether it's hyperbaric chambers, whether it's infrared saunas, ozone saunas, red light therapy, and paired it with medical professionals, right? So like we have the like the machinery, and then we have the therapists, right? The therapy and the therapist. And then the goal was, one of the pain points for me in DeMario probably experiences this to a little bit of an extent, is having to piece together a care plan. Right now, or the way that it was for me and a lot of people, is everything's fragmented. You go see this person over here in this silo, and then you go see this person over there in that silo, and a lot of times they're speaking different languages, and they're a lot of times it's conflicting.
It's conflicting,
right?
You're like, oh, do I listen to him or her?
Hey, bro, you told
that
me
or this?
You know what I mean? And so, over time, it's like, dang, I wish I had everything in one place.
Yeah.
How can I have, a cohesive view on health and have different practitioners that are, talking the same language? And so for us, protocol was this umbrella almost of like wellness, and it's a data informed approach too, because you don't want people just to come in and kind of like, we have a 10,000 square foot facility, so it could be a little overwhelming for someone that comes in off the street. They're like, man, I don't.
What do I do with this again?
What? This is a what chamber? You know what I'm saying? So like we come in, and our the path for somebody is to get a baseline. Like, let's see what you're dealing with, what your goals are, what's your blood work.
Because it's customizable.
Everything is customizable. And then we create your protocol based on what your data is, what your goals are, and then we build you the protocol to navigate the facility. So everybody has their own personalized plan on how to address their goals. And then we check in. We have a 3-month check-in, a 6-month check-in, and we measure. Are you getting better? Does something need to be tweaked? Can we take this out? Can we add this? And then we have like really good medical professionals, MDs, PAs, nurse practitioners, nurses that have the credentials, so to speak, because I'm not a real doctor. And so people who are like, oh, well, she has a lab coat on. Like she's official. Like my dad, like he won't listen to me. He'll listen to the doctor though.
He's like, but okay.
What you say? Oh, you take this? Okay, cool. I'm like, Pops, I've been telling you that. Nah. So
Dr. Morgan.
And it's like a lot of that generation is like, that whatever the doctor says is law. But we put all that together, and then we're seeing better results for people versus trying to navigate a fragmented healthcare system. And we're not all things to all people. But there's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways that we can help people.
Well, one of the things, as you were taking me around that you were pointing out, is some of the machines, because sometimes people feel like they have to be athletes, they have to be in certain workout a lot in order to create a protocol, but this is for everyday people who are doing everyday living. And one of the things that you were showing me, because our son, he's autism spectrum 1, you were showing me different channels on some of these machines that work for all different type of health concerns. And so it's not just, for the person who has a tight muscle, or for the person who needs their back pop, but these are things that can be implemented into lifestyle to help alleviate certain things, strengthen certain things. So can you talk a little
100%.
bit about how the protocol is not just geared for one type of individual, but for all different people from all different walks of life?
I think you were talking about the theta chamber.
Okay.
That's the one.
Remember the one
that rotates in the circle?
Yes.
It has an autism setting on it. It's not curing autism. It's just helping people with that condition. And so it's definitely not just for athletes. A lot of people ask me that. They're like, is it just for athletes? I was like, no. I mean, I was an athlete. I would never set up a business that was just for athletes.
That is not wise.
It's a lot of, they're very busy. They have a lot going on. And so, no, it's not just for athletes. Do we have athletes? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I was leaving today. There was a stroke patient in the hyperbaric chamber, 75 years old, right? So like we have all across the spectrum. We had a 5-year-old girl come in the other day with her mom, obviously. And then, we have, like I said, 75-year-old people that are dealing with things. So we have the full spectrum of people coming in, and they're all dealing or trying to achieve different things. And so people ask me, like, so what's your client profile? I'm like, as an entrepreneur and a business person, I want to tell you, it's this person is 35 years old and they're this. And I'm like, I don't have
that.
I don't have it. And
which is a rarity.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, okay, like, but I don't think, going back to like how this has been ordered, like, I don't feel like God put us in a position to be like, what's the word? Too selective in a sense where it's like you're boxing people out. It's like, no, like we want to be, we want it to be an easy on ramp for people to come and leverage our facility. And that's a lot of times like people can feel like that's not for them. Oh, this ain't for me. Like you said, oh, they come up the protocol. Oh, I gotta be a pro athlete. Nah, you don't. You know, health is for everyone. Everybody deserves to have a quality of life and a quality of health. And we're just trying to make it more accessible.
Yes. And it's, I mean, you mentioned like there's nothing like this in the city. And I'm sure there are opportunities where people probably could come in because there's probably nothing like this in so many mile radius, whether it's, you know, a flight away. What sets you guys apart from like some of the other things that may attempt to mimic what you're attempting to do? Like,
so I would say there's like all of this stuff exists in some capacity, right? There's a lot of places that have 25%, 50%, 80%. There will be places, there probably are places that have a lot of what we do. I would say the thing that separates us is who we are, our why, our story,
come on, give it to us.
You know what I mean? Like our passion behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody can go start a franchise, right? And try to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like when people come into the facility, they feel the authenticity of what we're trying to accomplish, and they feel our genuineness of like, we're not just trying to make money off of you. Like I tell people this all the time. I was not trying to start a business. A year ago when I signed this lease, I was like, God, you're going to have to show off because I don't know how.
Yeah.
The math ain't mathing. The time ain't timing. I don't know how you're going to do this, but you're going to have to show off. And he's been showing off.
Come on, God.
And I'm like, dang, I'm looking at this like I'm a logical person. I'm an analytical person. And I'm looking at things and I'm like, this don't add up, but God has been making a way. And so I feel like the thing that separates us inevitably is that our calling on this business is real. And we are who we are and our journey is authentic. And and then you throw in an avocado toast from Chef Charity Morgan. Nobody got that. They ain't gonna find that nowhere.
So talk about that part because I think sometimes you can go to different places and you can, you know, get in the hyperbaric and you can get an IV. But you can't get an avocado toast. You can't get a coffee. You can't get a facial, a massage. Like it's literally a one-stop shop where I'm like, I need to just go sit up there. I can go get my face.
We got day passes.
You got, you know, like, go get all the things, but. That's another thing that sets you guys apart because you have the chef, Charity Morgan, in the kitchen, but she's intentional about the protocol that's taking place on that side as well. So what is that? What's all over there? What can people look for?
You know, it's a lot. So it's not a lot yet, but it has the potential to be a lot. So we're starting small, crawl, walk, run. We're starting very small. We just have a small menu of smoothies right now. We have some matchas. We have some adaptogen coffees. We do have some specials. She has these nachos that are crazy. They're like a mound of nachos. And then she has this thing called Ep.8 avocado toast.
Okay.
You got to come by.
I gotta come.
Leave though.
I'm still listen. When I come back into town, I'm still here. I'm still planning. My license still say Tennessee. I'm coming back.
You gotta come on the way to the airport or something. Get something for the road. I mean, like it's really like a very small curated menu. But then we have all these things that we add into the like ingredients, like proteins and vitamin B's and nootropics and mushrooms. And so it's a lot of like intentional ingredients that are like superfoods, and we don't do no seed oils. And so it's like very intentional, and it complements everything that you're doing on the wellness side. So if you go and get a massage or get in the hyperbaric chamber and then you leave and go eat some trash, you're fighting against yourself.
Right.
But
Can't
if
go to
you-
Wendy's.
Yeah, like what you doing, bro? Like get out the drive-through.
Right.
And so we're trying to make it like a one-stop shop where everything is feeding into your health.
Yep.
And so that's another differentiator for sure. And like, I want to, eventually, like I think that athletes have such a unique perspective on like recovery and like what it takes to perform, but like a lot of times people don't have the access to that knowledge or that system. And so like, how can I share some of what I've learned over 20 years being an athlete at the highest, 9 years at the highest level? How can I take some of that knowledge and like share it, and just kind of put it into everything we're doing?
And that's important because I think about how so many athletes come into the game and they have to figure everything out on their own.
Yeah.
Like there's no play-by-play of, listen, you shouldn't have seed, or hey, you should probably consider this, or your weight should be, or you need strength here. Or, like the recovery plan, you're kind of like piecing it together. And there are limited spaces where athletes are able to receive wise counsel in something similar to this from somebody who isn't just talking the talk, but who has walked the walk, who has the experience. And so I think that gives you a one-up a little bit because you're able to meet them where they are as they're coming in and saying, hey, this is a plan that you should put in place.
Yeah.
Like on the front end, not just because you got injured last week.
Don't be reactive.
Don't be reactive. Like, how do you put some of these things into place ahead of time? And so that's something that's different about what you guys have because, together you're putting your life on display.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Ways, and people are getting to have access to that. So I know one of the hot topics right now is all the peptides and things of that nature.
They're about to get us shut down up in here. Hold up now. They speak my love language. Oh, keep going. Okay.
Are these things that are like new and innovative, like being paired with some of these things, does it give you like extra boost?
I gotta watch what I say.
No, you gotta say this carefully.
I gotta be very tactful.
We can edit
with this.
it all.
We can edit, but
we can edit.
I want to be real, and I want to give people useful information.
Yes.
So, disclaimer: peptides are not FDA approved. That being said, a lot of things aren't FDA approved. There's a lot of things that are FDA approved and kill a lot of people, right? So, like, let me just kind of paint the whole picture. Peptides are this interesting category of, they're not a supplement, they're not a prescription, they're somewhere like in the middle. They're like a small chain of amino acids, and they're like signals for your body. They tell your body to do certain things that it already does, right? So it creates certain ways to make certain systems in your body more efficient, right? GLPs are peptides. Insulin's a peptide, right? Like there's peptides that tell your brain to do certain things, or your digestion, or your thyroid, or your metabolism, or your mitochondria. So like there's a lot of different peptides. I'm a huge believer in them because I've, from personal experience, have realized some of the benefits. I've had 9 surgeries. I've mentioned that. I've had 3 on this left, 1 on the right, and I have moderate to severe arthritis that if I'm not intentional about, it talks to me every day. So I've been on some peptides like BPC 157 that have changed my quality of life when it comes to inflammation and pain. And I have numerous accounts of people who have anecdotal evidence of, I feel better. My quality of life has gone through the roof. I'm able to drop that last 15 pounds that I've been fighting with for 15 years, whatever the case. And so I think that there will never be a replacement for lifestyle, right? You can't just pop a pill or take a shot and replace bad habits. But they could be additive in a lot of ways if you use them strategically.
And that's what I wanted us to really be able, like, that could be a part of your protocol.
Yes.
But that's not the protocol.
Correct. Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm
no doctor.
No. It's Dr. Tamela. I'm gonna tell you, like, straight up, like,
come on, Dr. Tamela.
you can't like prescribe your way out of bad habits. You can't like take a pill and expect all the things that you're doing that contributed to your symptoms to go away.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to give you another pill. And that's how our system in a lot of ways is set up, unfortunately.
It is. And it's sad because I see that like even like with my parents who are a little bit older, you know, from the doctor's orders. But I'm like, okay, the medicine bag is, you know, humongous. And so.
And growing.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about my pops right here. I'm not going to. But I'm like, my dad, I always use him as an example because, you know, he's becoming more open-minded to some of this stuff, right? Like he's gotten in the red bed, he's doing laser treatment, shockwave. And then he's telling me like, yo, I feel a lot better. Like I can show you text messages like, I'm doing yard work, I'm pressure washing, and these are things that he couldn't do weeks ago, right? And so we put him on a little protocol, and it's changing his quality of life. And so I'm a huge believer in strategically using some of these more innovative techniques, whether it's peptides, whether it's stem cells, exosomes. I mean, there's a whole litany of things that you could be doing. It's 2026. The pace of innovation is staggering, especially in the healthcare industry. There's like new things every week. And so not that everything is valid, but there's so much innovation that you would be ignorant to try to like not explore some of this stuff because it has validity. A lot of this stuff has validity. Now there are things you see on Instagram and whatever. It's like, I don't know about that. Like,
we're not saying order stuff off Amazon.
We're not saying that. We're not chasing trends. Right. And be careful about ordering supplements off of Amazon, as we just say that out loud, because they are finding that a lot of supplements are being copy and pasted from these factories in China. They look identical to like a Thorn or, you know, a Designs for Health. I'm like, I think I might have ordered some. I'm like, I don't know about this, bro. So like, you gotta like go to the company website, and it's a little bit more inconvenient than hitting that buy now. Right. But it's like, it's a real thing. Yeah. So just a little side note.
Just a little side note, because we want you guys to be well.
Yeah, 100%.
Holistically.
Yes.
All the way around. So tell the people how they can show up. What's the protocol to get into protocol, getting in with you guys, exploring all the offerings, getting some hands-on experience, getting some good food from Chef Charity.
Yeah. Easiest place is probably our Instagram. It's at the Pro2Call, the number 2, PRO, the number 2, COL, and then theprotocol.com. Those are two easy ways to learn more about what we do. We always invite people that are local to come in and tour the facility, because you really don't understand the magnitude of how big the space is and everything we do until you come in. And so we just want to meet people where they're at. You know what I mean? There's nothing intimidating, you know, that about what we're doing. We have a really friendly staff, you know, very inviting staff, and you know, we got good food. So, you know, at the very least, you know, you can leave with a good smoothie. You know,
listen,
it's not gonna be a, you know, total wash, but you know, I think it's you know, we're excited to like have an open door policy, you know, for people to come in and learn how they can, you know, better their health.
Yep. Nope. That's big. So any lasting piece of advice, we call this a little tea time, any lasting piece of advice as you just think about your journey, Charity's journey, y'all's journey together, what you guys have been able to cultivate, that you would say, like, listen, people, I want to leave you with this as you're considering your health, as you're considering your food, as you're considering your faith journey, whatever it is in life that speaks specifically to you guys and your family and your lifestyle.
Everything we do is out of direction from God. And what I mean by that is, one thing I had to learn painfully was, do not let your will supersede God's will.
That's big.
You may see that you have it in your mind all mapped out, but I promise you that is not the best path. And you got to be willing to surrender, you know, your will to His, and it'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of suffering. And a lot of times it'll save you a lot of money. And, I think for my journey up until this point, there's been certain moments where, I've seen both sides. I've seen where I've willed it in my own strength and seen where I ended up.
That's good.
And I've seen other moments where I've surrendered in my weakness and let God just take the wheel. And I've seen where I've ended up. So I would say always just do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge the Lord, and He'll direct your path. And that's Proverbs. That's not D. Morg. That's Proverbs. But
straight from the Bible.
That's the word. And so that's a scripture I live by, and I think it applies to everything in life.
That's big.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. God is who He say He is, people.
That's right.
Don't take that lightly.
No, that's right.
Yep.
So that's the first thing that came to my mind, and I live it out. I try to live it out every day.
Yeah. Well, thank you for living it out and living by example, so that myself and other people get to watch it and to be inspired by what we're able to do too.
Yeah.
And also thank you for protocol of what you're doing to change the game here in Nashville and beyond.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about it, and
absolutely
for you and DeMario always being supportive of what we're doing. And it really means a lot to when you start new ventures, to have the support of your community.
Yeah.
And you guys are always supportive of everything we're doing. So I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys as well. And we're excited. We're going to get our membership at Protocol.
Let's start with a smoothie.
Let's start with a smoothie. We're going to start with a smoothie.
Nah, but appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for coming on. And thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Tea with Tamela. You can catch us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. And this is a good one. And if you are here in Nashville, check out Protocol. If you are coming in to visit or just want to take a flight in to get a smoothie and get in a bed or something, we got you covered. We got you. You got them covered, right?
We got them covered.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Tea with Tamela. Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.